but I have no sense of rhythm, tempo, musical talent, just words.
Yeah.
But the trick with freestyling is to make it sound clever. You pick the word you want to rhyme with, the unusual one. So then pick an unusual word. Rastafarian. And then we put that one second, and then we rhyme something easy with it, and it sounds like you're really clever because you rhymed the easy word with something very complicated, right?
Oh, and then that's your lyrical genius.
Right? So you would think Rastafarian, what rhymes with that? What's that theme?
Rastafarian.
Right?
What do you think?
Aryan, Tarian. You basically like, I'm driving a Toyota Aryan, and Bob Marley is my mate. He's a Rastafarian. And people are like, oh, holy shit, you rang Rastafarian, right? And they're like, how did you do that? It's because you started the opposite way.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
That's so smart.
Okay.
My dream.
Orange. Okay. Yeah, like everyone knows what. I was in my room, or squeaky door hinge. Right, and
got hungry, eating orange.
Boom! Go away. Oh, crackers! Wow. So,
Karen, what's another rhyme for orange? Can you think of one?
What rhymes with Christmas? I only heard two things ever end well with Christmas.
Mismass, and like you're missing the mass that sometimes occurs on Christmas.
Oh yeah. So you didn't go to church?
I didn't go to church.
That's bad. I missed mass this year. It was the first year I didn't miss mass.
Oh, so you go to church every year?
I went to church this year.
And Easter, or
my girlfriend's family is very religious, so I went to church.
Like,
yeah. I've never been before.
Never been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Normally, my family drinks champagne and has a big breakfast, and that's like, and then everyone gets drunk by lunchtime. So, yeah. Isthmus is my favorite rhyme with Christmas. A small body of land between two bodies of water. The only one that anyone fucking knows is between North and South America, Mexico. There's the Isthmus of Panama. Yeah. And the only reason I know
rocking out on the Isthmus. It's time for Christmas.
That's it. The worst poem I've ever heard. Rhymes Christmas with Isthmus. So
yeah. Does anyone want to just lay down some freestyle rhymes in the comments? I would love to see that.
Wish list actually rhymes.
List.
It's quite a good rhyme with Christmas.
Yeah, that seems like it would work. Yeah, I would like to. Like, I do have a goal. One day, and I'm scared to say this out loud because I know you're going to hold me to it.
Yeah.
But to be able to freestyle live.
Maybe we can have a rap battle.
Yeah.
Maybe we get 100 viewers. We'll drop the freestyle battle.
I'm already so stressed.
We need to work out how to get the votes in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome back to everyone who tuned in last week. Was that 5th live stream?
Yeah, I think so.
We still haven't picked our time or our name, but we have picked a whole bunch of fucking topics that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's been, we like picked a really good time to start our live stream because there's so much happening.
There is so much going on in the world.
It's lots, yeah. So I saw this meme today, and it was like there's like 5 seasons in Australia. There's like summer, winter, spring, autumn, and fuck you just happens randomly.
Love it.
And we're in the middle of a fuck you season right now, which is like there's floods fucking everywhere. My friends are like ice, like in the Blue Mountains and North Sydney, like cut off without power. There's helicopters flying in, bread, milk, and toilet paper and stuff.
Oh,
it's like a level above COVID.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just jumped from crisis to the next crisis.
Yeah.
Environmental crisis.
Once in 100-year flood. This happened twice so far this century. You know, that type of stuff. Yeah.
I'm so scared about climate change. It is terrifying. Yeah.
Part of me though kind of just wants to accelerate it, right?
Why?
Because like I tried to stop it. I tried to avert it. I tried to set up a company that was basically like, okay, I can take all the carbon out of the atmosphere.
Oh, cool.
No one wanted to fucking know me.
No one.
I called a politician. I called a liberal politician.
Yeah. And
they were like, I was like, I've got a technology that means you can burn as much coal as you want.
Yeah.
And they're like, I already can. I'm like, oh no, but I'll offset the emissions. I'm like, they're like, why?
Yeah.
How fucked is that?
Wow, I can't believe you did that. That's crazy.
Their office said this, and basically like, anyway, so yeah, but basically I'm like, well, you know what? How about fuck them, and I'll just like try and vote for the person. And then people do this with Trump, right? They're like, maybe we accelerate and bring about the bad thing, but we prepare for it so that they're caught unawares, and then the tables are turned.
Wait, so who's preparing for it in this situation?
Well, they don't believe it exists,
Right.
right? So you basically say, oh no, climate change is definitely going to happen. So how about I try and bring it about quicker? But then they get like fucked over basically, and then you end up in a much better position. So you like buy Tasmania or New Zealand or some shit. You hurriedly vote, the most coal hungry politicians in, and then when everything sea level rises and everything's doomed, you're like sitting pretty on land that was previously uninhabitable or whatever, having your little evil scientist mansion, laughing at everyone else. It seems like one of these things.
The rich still only benefit though. It's just you and all the rich.
This is the problem. It's always only class war, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Wow. So you were like, I see this world issue. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah. Every world issue that
I love
happens,
that
I do the same
attitude.
thing. Yeah.
That's a really cool attitude. Who else has tried to save the world? See, I feel that I'm not intelligent or resourceful or powerful enough to make any significant change to climate change, although I am trying in my own way.
Do you think we should try in our own way?
Yeah, I
Really
do.
So I'm like, I completely absolve myself of all guilt. I'll take a long shower. I love gas. Seriously, gas is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Just forget about the climate change aspects of gas for a moment.
All right.
Okay, close your eyes.
Close.
Imagine you're a caveman and you're really hungry, but you don't have to go outside and get some wood to cook your food because you killed a bison, right?
Yeah.
Imagine there's a little button you push and it just makes a little mini campfire with no smoke.
Yeah.
No real fumes. You can switch it on and off whenever you want, and you don't have to stock it. It's perfectly clean. Gas is magical, right? It's a little mini campfire. You just open in your house whenever you want.
So convenient. It's hen feng bian.
It's
Chinese phrase for convenience.
Hen
so
feng
convenient. Hen feng bian.
Hen feng bian?
Yeah,
what does it mean?
So convenient.
So convenient. Gas is so convenient. And cooking with gas is like literally the best thing ever, right? We should all be able to. But we don't want climate change, so we're going to offset those emissions.
Yeah.
Plant a tree every time we put the stove on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at. But no, I think okay, we've all been like not, for the past year, no one's been doing all these activities we think generally contribute to climate change. Like no one's been driving their cars and stuff. What's happened to global emissions?
They've greatly reduced, right?
A little bit, but not really much.
Not really. Ooh.
Because individuals don't make emissions. It's companies.
Big companies.
But they want to put it back on you.
They want to put the pressure on you. Like, offset your carbon.
Do you know where the concept of littering comes from?
Where?
Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Why?
They went from glass bottles to plastic bottles. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, anyone. They went from glass bottles to plastic bottles, and everyone went, oh, that's really irresponsible because you're generating all this waste. So they invented don't litter, put it back onto the consumer, and invented the Tidy Towns program to reward towns that
That's such an American thing, the Tidy Towns program.
That's it. And they basically made it a problem for the consumer.
Oh.
You haven't put your rubbish in the bin.
Wow.
Not
we're
generating.
Strategy.
Fucking oath, right?
They have the best marketing people at Coca-Cola.
And climate change, I think, is the same thing. I think it's
Amatil, right? They're the owners.
Coca-Cola, Amatil.
Amatil,
yeah. And they own heaps of stuff, right? And the thing is, I think with these things, it's like, okay, well, I think there's things which are really important. Like we can try and support businesses that try and do the right thing. When we try and take control of it on our own, it can be really difficult because it's like, how much difference can I make and where should I do it? And I think it's really difficult, especially when it's like charity or like going to the shops. Like, does the product that you buy actually make any real world difference? If you don't get a bag for your apples, is that making a difference, or is it just making you feel good? Like, I try not to put apples and bananas in plastic bags if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
But does it make any real difference?
Right, and you're saying by the evidence of what happened during COVID, when everyone was out, no one was driving, that basically emissions didn't actually decrease that much.
That's it.
Right. So really, it's the corporations. But it's nice to also put the blame on the corporations.
It's very nice to put the blame on the corporations.
But I do think that a lot of them are pretty evil.
So this week we've seen a whole bunch of shit happen in politics, and it's actually kind of the Liberal Party has been kind of imploding, which has been really interesting, culminating with an update today. Hold on, there'll be another. Oh, fantastic! I just got a fish tank.
Oh, amazing! Okay,
how good's that?
What's in the fish tank this time?
So we have 3 viewers. That's your mum, my girlfriend.
Love that.
That's a good start, Karen.
Solid.
So basically, it looks like ministers have tried to been dodging the responsibility for like facing the music when it comes to bad behavior in Parliament.
Yeah.
But Malcolm Turnbull,
accountability. Yeah.
accountability.
Mhm.
Malcolm Turnbull basically said, if you don't hold the ministers accountable, you kind of set the standard for letting no one be accountable, because the standard that you walk past is the standard you accept. So if you don't hold a minister to account for their behavior, you basically are saying to everyone inside that party that that behavior is acceptable and that you'll tolerate it. And that's unfortunately why if you're a politician, and whether you've done it or not, you kind of have to say, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, or I'm going to like really, push. Actually, no, it's good. It's good to basically say, I'm going to hold the highest, the highest accountability for things like this. And that's why when, we've seen other politicians, get a bribe, $6,000 bottle of wine that wasn't declared, you kind of have to fall on your sword because you want to set a standard in Parliament. And we haven't seen that. In fact, everyone's been trying to dodge this and keep their jobs. What happens is you actually you didn't read the room right. Everyone's saying, no, this isn't just about this. It's about holding everyone in politics to account for their behavior, especially around, the way that we treat women, especially the way that men treat women in Parliament politics. And what happens is the longer that they don't address the problem, the more and more that people are being held to account for it. And it will cause a whole. Liberals could lose government over this, which is really interesting. We were talking a little bit about it last week, and I think it will actually happen. And ScoMo was crying today, but it's like, are his tears because he's sad about what's happening, or are his tears because he's scared he's going to lose his job?
Right. Is he scared about the stress of what's going on? I feel like it's the latter. Yeah.
I think so too.
Why? Does anyone know why he was crying? Like, what had happened in the event?
I was at a conference all day.
Wait, crazy games work. What the hell going on? What the hell going on in here?
Yeah, we're talking politics and news.
Yeah, politics, news. At the moment, politics in Australia, but generally we're going to talk about science and tech and what other topics we'll get to later across the world. So yeah, we'll talk about everything. But at the moment, we're just looking at this interesting moment in Australian politics where currently the Liberal Party in Australia is in power, and however, some of the politicians are now being held to account for their actions, and we're seeing the whole party sort of feel the effects of that, and people might even lose power over it. So, and
it's interesting because there was a Facebook Messenger group that was trading photos of these some of the high up Liberal staffers performing lewd acts on the ministers of lewd acts. But I imagine that's the way that like your whole party goes down, as a Facebook Messenger chat of like,
wow.
I can't even imagine receiving one of those messages or being in this group that does this. Anyway, I think it'll be more interesting to talk about this next week when they're.
Let's see what happens. But we're sort of watching all the dominoes tumble.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. It's So I went to a technology conference today, Singularity U.
Singularity U. So it's about
a university looking at far future technologies. That's it.
And now, just because I enjoy hearing people's response to this, what is your definition of what is a singularity?
Okay, so like I'm super into singularity stuff, and like when I got into like singularist like science fiction and reading about transhumanism and stuff, it was literally just like this event that we can't see past. And some people have argued for like singularities like fire or the internet or iPhones being singularities, right? They're these technological events that when they happen, you can't see past them, right? So if in 2006 I made a prediction about what the next 5 years would look like, if I didn't include an iPhone in there, I would have been way off, right?
Yeah.
And before the internet, if you didn't include the internet, which a lot of people didn't see, you're not really accurate. So, but most people are talking about basically when an AI becomes like sentient.
That's what we think is the next big breakthrough.
Yeah, computers that can think as much as humans.
Yeah.
But really the singularity event is something that happens like shortly after that, which is when you have like exponentially increase in brain power happen in these robots. Well, okay, so something thinks like an ant one day, human the next day. Well, what happens in the next week? Right, that's the singularity. We can't really work out what happens past there. 2045 is exactly right. That's when Ray Kurzweil has basically picked this event to happen, and we're still on track for that.
Who's Ray Kurzweil?
The guy who started Singularity University. And I hope Nathan is coming to the conference tomorrow, because today it was fucking boring. But there was some cool technology. There was some brain-computer interfacing stuff there. One of the things that I was really interested in, next generation manufacturing.
Oh, was that?
I saw 3D metal printers that can print at 100 microns.
What's a micron?
A micron is a thousandth of a mil, I think.
Okay.
But we're talking about 200 microns or 100 microns is the width of a human hair.
Okay.
So we're starting to talk like some really interesting next gen manufacture. So this is like you can rent these machines, so you can send files off. And I saw some of the stuff, and it's getting pretty good. And when we're printing in this, we're not just printing in like that shitty plastic that we've seen lots of stuff come out. Printing in like titanium.
Oh.
So printing like syringes, and we're gonna start to see stuff like hopefully insect robots made out of this, right?
Like little drones.
Little spy drones.
Spy drones.
That's
what else will they be used for?
That's it. Fly the little mosquito with the live stream into the Liberal Party room and see what they're all talking about in there. Or move the prayer room. That's where all this stuff went down. That's where all the politicians hook up with each other. So you can literally be a fly on the wall and live stream that. That Twitch channel is going to get a lot of traction.
So I feel like this what's it called? What's the machine called? Next gen manufacturing. It's just mainly going to be used for spy drones. What's something really cool that it could? I guess that's cool. But what's something really that would help humanity that it could make?
Interfacing biological mechanical systems, right?
What does that mean?
So basically, what we want to. So right now, if you wanted to say for example, I had a finger missing, or I wanted to connect my finger up to a mechanical system. Everything's a bit too clunky for it to work easily or well. So being able to have a turbine on an artery coming out of your finger or something would be really cool. But the bigger it is, the more likely it is to have clots and things like this. So you want something that's the same diameter and size as the things that's already there.
Okay. What would having a turbine on your finger be good for?
Powering my device that can do something else. Yeah, so maybe it would power a little thing. So if I give finger guns, it pops out little bang.
For finger guns, yes.
You're all under friend for that. I'm gonna put a patent out for that tomorrow.
Instead of Alex Child says, instead of a weather graph at the end, can we get a how close to the singularity are we graph?
How close are we? Well, last I heard it's still 2045. We're still on track. Maybe it's longer, but as far as I know, Moore's law still holds true. I haven't heard anything to say otherwise.
Moore's law.
Plus, it's the thing is with these types of things, right? And Nathan was very big at shaping my mind around this. Humans are really bad at thinking exponentially, right?
Right.
So we can think linearly very easily, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, but when it starts multiplying exponentially, we don't realize how quickly it takes off. So with these things, we're AI is really far away. It doesn't think like a human, anywhere near a baby or something like that. The thing is, the second it thinks as good as an ant, it's not actually that much longer when it's doubling until it thinks like a human, and then double a human the next day. You're what the fuck, Our brains don't think like that, and it always catches people off guard. In fact, the DARPA, which we spoke about before, that branch of the American military that does advanced research, was invented basically because we don't think like this. So we get caught off guard by new technologies, and that's DARPA will reference heaps this conference today.
Oh, okay. And so what does DARPA do exactly? So they
look out for technology and they're trying to create new technologies, and they want to never get caught off guard again. Because recently there's actually an anniversary of Sputnik the other day. The Russians launched Sputnik, and it caught the Americans off guard. So they invented DARPA.
Right, I've never heard of DARPA before. Have you heard of DARPA before?
They
don't want to be known.
Well, they actually did some really interesting stuff, but no one knows about it. So they invented Tor. They invented a whole heap of far future technologies. The one they're most famous for, though, and no one knows, is they invented the internet.
Did they?
DARPANet is what it was called back in the day. And basically, they invented the technologies that kind of led to the internet. Or the internet it came from DARPANet. But
if I went on Wikipedia right now and it was invention of the internet, would they mention DARPA?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One interesting thing though is that last time I saw what they were up to with bio, they were we're going to modulate soldiers' immune systems so they can never get attacked by viruses. And that was 2 years, definitely 2 years ago. And then I'm COVID came. I'm let's see what DARPA have.
Yeah.
Mass death. Mass death for the American people.
Because I thought that the military already gave like people like soldiers nootropics, those sorts of things.
We don't know.
Oh.
We know that they get injected with a lot of stuff.
Oh.
I would have no doubt that they would.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of comments. Singularity conferences were good back when Adam Ford ran them. SU is light for corporate executives. It's been very corporate so far. Cyborg cat girls would help human. Would cyborg cat girls help humanity?
Wait, what's that? Cyborg cat girls. Yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
down.
Like
I'm
I know, like
down.
all the guys are like, yeah, we like it. Okay. Humanity is saved.
Musk
yeah.
wants to fund it.
What? So cyborg cat girls are these just?
Mm.
What are these? But what do they do?
What don't they do?
What don't they do? Does every home have one?
I
Is
think,
that the idea?
You know what? Fuck it. That's a political platform right there. Every a cat girl in every home.
I want to know, Alex, more about what do they do?
And while we're waiting for Alex to reply, what about mechanical failure and fatigue? Okay, how do we replace parts inside bodies? So one of the big problems is like
human bodies.
Human bodies. When we put they just don't build things like they used to, right?
Honestly, I'm so ready for my exoskeleton. Let's get rid of this. Look at this shitty arm. It's barely flexible. I need a new one. I just need something much better.
We're getting very close to a lot of this. And I think the thing is, what about if we see our bodies as upgradable? So we don't think about, it's important to think about how do things wear and tear over time, but also like we can have planned obsolescence built into it. So it's like, okay, this is a bone that's going to last you like 20 years, and you kind of know that during that time it's like the new iPhone, you'll upgrade it when the better version comes out, but it's going to have a certain life expectancy. And I think that's fine because all of our body parts now have fatigue and problems, right? Like there's the pyramids have outlasted any person. In fact, there's houses that have outlasted people. We know that there's ways that we can make things that outlast us. The question is, do they have the same utility and are they going to give us the same, like if I have a titanium bone, it's going to be very heavy, right? It might be very strong and maybe that's not what I want.
Right. And I'm just thinking now, like, so say the technology comes around, we can replace your liver with a bionic liver.
Yeah.
Is that going to go to like, and then you've got the choice of like people who have crappy livers who want to get that replaced, and then sort of people who don't need them, would they still want that bionic liver, or would they want to keep their liver?
What we do is we get Carlton United Brewery to sponsor the livers, so when you destroy it from consuming alcohol, after 100 cartons of beer, they give you a free liver.
That's such good marketing.
But it's branded with metal, so that when you get an X-ray, sponsored by Carlton United Brewery.
Yeah. And when they need to locate your body later, when you get murdered, they're like, oh, this is serial number Carlton 405. Yeah.
Why not? We're going to repossess his liver and give it to the next alcoholic.
For real. People can't think exponentially.
That's why people can't grasp investment growth, compound interest. It's very, very true. So people like Warren Buffett, for example, they're very, very rich. They only made the bulk of their money recently. Basically, once you make $1 billion, you can't fail at making money, right? You just make huger and huger amounts of money. You end up starting a cryptocurrency and making a fortune. Hugo de Garis brought up femto technology years ago. Hugo's like, where are the aliens? They're computing inside quarks. That is very, very interesting.
I know what a quark is. Can you remind me?
Subatomic particle.
Yeah.
And basically, Richard Feynman wrote a very interesting paper called "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom," and it's basically like, we see a lot of limitations, but if you think on an atomic scale or subatomic scale, there is so much room. Like inside a bit of paper, there is so much room to do computing and all this other stuff. We just don't have the technology to get in there yet. And we see these limits, but the limits are artificial. The limits are by the technology. And I think it was Marshall McLuhan talks about this, we shape the tools and the tools shape us. Our thinking is limited by the technology. It is, right? Like you think, what's the new, we see this in the Liberal Party. What's the solution to sexual assault? An app.
Oh my God.
Because the thinking is limited by the technology, right? Like,
and what Meow's referring to is this an idea that was it maybe a police commissioner as well came up with. It was this consent app where basically before people have sex, they tap that they both consent to the act. It's just the dumbest thing.
Anyone watching this can immediately think of about fucking 100 reasons why it's a bad
That's just
idea.
such a bad idea for so many reasons.
and
And it basically protects abusers. Anyway,
It does,
whatever.
it does. I can't think of a single case where it actually works as described.
Yeah. What a solution.
Fuck, we've got 1 billion. Okay, awesome. We're gonna see if we can hit 100 comments before our hour mark this week. Here you guys, friendly technology. DARPA-funded projects have provided significant technologies that influenced many non-military fields. So
cool.
There's a lot of military applications. They're always trying to work out, like, how do we not get caught off guard in the field by someone else's technology? Based on modern internet and graphical user interfaces in information technology. Interesting. And they were so in biotech.
Thanks for that, Brennan.
Biotech, they were very interested in, like, how do we get brain-computer interfaces so that you can have telepresence jets.
Telepresence, what's that mean?
So telepresence is like, imagine if right now someone was live streaming us to a robot and we were watching it like drive around a supermarket.
Oh.
We would be telepresent, right?
Okay.
What they want to do is
you're just watching it through another medium.
Yeah, but we might be controlling where the robot goes.
Yeah. Okay.
So what they want to do is they want to put a soldier robot in a plane, and then the soldier controls the robot, and the robot flies the plane. So if the plane blows up,
it's robots controlling robots. Hold on.
It's humans controlling robots controlling a plane. So basically, like, imagine if I'm flying a drone, and that drone is like dropping bombs on people in the Middle East or whatever. It's good because if someone blows up the drone, they don't blow up the pilot because it's expensive to retrain someone.
Oh.
And what DARPA were trying to do is, can we put a brain chip in so they can just sit there, in a chair and just think about bombing the Middle East, and they can do that. It turns out they can.
They can?
And there's videos of it online. Yeah, it's really interesting. And literally they were flying fighter jets in the video.
Wow.
And I was using a thing called a Utah array, which is basically like a very primitive version of Elon Musk's Neuralink. Have you seen Neuralink?
Yeah.
A Utah array was this little array of, like, 90 to a few hundred sensors, and it just plugs into your brain, and then they use machine learning to tell the computer what the signals are coming out of the brain. So they look at left, look at right, and the computer's like, oh, that's left, that's right.
I think Neuralink is so cool.
Would you get a Neuralink?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you do to people who got Neuralink if you were Elon Musk? How would you use this for evil?
For evil, okay, for evil, my first thought is to make money off the people. I'd just I'd influence them I just market straight to their brains to go and make me money by buying my products. That's
Everyone wakes up suddenly feeling like they'd really like a Tesla. That's interesting. Really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I consent to watching this stream. Thank you, Brennan. If you withdraw that at any time, please let us know. So yeah, the thing is that this Neuralink is super cool, but like, you can't have Elon Musk make it because, like,
who can make it then?
Everyone else. Like, I would want.
Or like anyone else.
I want to make my own one, or I want to be able to buy.
Donald Trump can make it.
I might buy a component, one component. I want to know how each. But what I'd love to do is buy each of the components, put them together, and then put on my little helmet.
Okay.
So I know where each bit's come from, because I am like. Yeah. As you said, there's going to be malware inside my brain. There's going to be ads inside my brain.
Fair enough. And I feel like with your knowledge in the area as well, you could sort of grab components. I couldn't. Like, I don't know anything.
Just go to this marketing Guangzhou and like
Guangzhou.
And like be like, okay, here's the factory that makes Elon Musk's Neuralink. I'm going to take each of the components from a different reseller and put it all together myself.
Totally.
Right?
My favorite part of Neuralink is the idea that it can also help people with spinal damage walk again. That's just
really
coolest.
Mine was switch off the light from bed. Like, that's straight up. That's the best.
You're right. I'm sorry. That really trumps it.
I like he was like, one of his like main things was like, you'll be able to stream Spotify to your brain. Like, not Wikipedia, Spotify. He's like, that's gonna bring everyone to my platform. Out of all the internet services, which one would you like the best?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it would be nice just to pull up Netflix, right?
Netflix would be real good.
Yeah, just on one lid.
One lid. That's what you want. Yeah.
Just one.
At all times.
I can close one.
Did you ever see Google Glass? Because it was basically like this, right? Can you do it?
Wait, I'm trying to do my robot. Hold on. Wait, I am Lucy. So, okay, onwards. Yep.
Um,
It's funny if I ever go to like get my makeup done or something, they'll be like, "Close your eyes, please," and I'm like, "Just that one? Sure."
Oh,
When I do that one. You know, I just taught myself to do it. When I was in primary school, my parents used to drive all around Australia. They take off 6 months every year and they just drive around. And so I'd just sort of be like homeschooled. We'd be in the car for like 7 hours a day, like just driving all around the outback. And I'd just be there like just teaching myself to move one eyebrow and just to like close one eye and to move my ears.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, some people would. I read a lot of books, and what was interesting actually was that when I came back to school, I would always be ahead of the class because I'd just been like solidly reading every day for like 6 months.
With Neuralink, you could just download the syllabus straight into your brain.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do, you could connect the webcam to your visual cortex, close your eyes, and then look from there and do your makeup.
Love it. Multitasking,
Patent,
saving time.
Patent pending. Patent pending.
Hen?
No, it's open source. That's one for everyone.
So convenient. I
I
love it.
Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got? I want reading but not writing. Interesting. So we want to be able to read the internet but not write to our brain. So we want it to be able to read what we're thinking but not write in. And this is an interesting conversation.
So input, output.
You want to be able to see what you're thinking but not
Input, not
be
output.
able, not for it to write.
Whatever. Yeah.
So what's interesting about Neuralink, Neuralink goes both ways.
Right.
So it's got electrodes that pull information out, but it also can send signals to your brain.
Yeah.
Buy Tesla, right? Buy Zissel.
Vote for this party.
Vote for this party.
Yeah.
Oh, you really want to go and get a Coca-Cola from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this though? You know we get personalized advertising.
Yeah.
Would you consent to getting like, you know, mild suggestions about like wanting a Coca-Cola a little bit more in exchange for free services?
That is hard, isn't it? That's the next
Because that's
level.
essentially what Google is doing, right? It's like continually bombarding you, trying to like get you to think a certain way. I reckon for things I already like, I wouldn't mind liking them a bit more.
Yeah, and I
like if my girlfriend wanted to take out some advertising space to be like, what about I'll just make you, every time you look at me, I just give you a little bit more serotonin. I'd be like, I'm down with that.
I think as soon as it becomes emotional manipulation, I feel like that's scary territory. But I feel like so with Google Ads, if you're just seeing a different ad all the time.
Though?
Sorry.
Like, so you said before, like I like the environment and I want to stop climate change. What if, and how many boomers are on the stream? I don't know. As people get older, they generally get more conservative. What about if you could say, you know what, I like Labour or Liberal Party. I'm going to join the thing and I'm going to let them brainwash me into staying to always liking them for longer.
I hear you. I think it's important that we allow our views to change and our emotions to think about things to change. Maybe, you know, the example of your girlfriend, she's great. So we don't need it to change. But like when, like, say you were in a relationship that you probably shouldn't be in, but every time you see them, you get serotonin, that's just going to be this addictive, abusive relationship in the end. Like, so I think that we are. So yeah, so basically my point is, as soon as it becomes emotional manipulation, I think that's a no from me. But with Google Ads being able to, you know, change your personal preferences, just getting certain like more information all the time, I'd see that as being different.
I reckon I'd let it. I'd let it manipulate me just a little bit.
I love it. Yeah.
For certain things though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think music manipulate me. If country music wants me to love it that bad, but they're willing to pay. It makes no difference to my life what music I listen to, really, right?
Actually, you know what I would love? To be able to, okay, here's my consent, right? If it could influence me to enjoy studying more, to writing essays more, because I love learning about everything.
Yeah.
I'm super curious, but sometimes when it comes to some subjects, or I'm like midway through a degree and it's just like, oh, I'm just getting actually really sick of writing essays about this thing. Like, if it could influence me to enjoy the process of learning.
Manipulation as a service, right? So you go along and you go to see your university counselor and go, I'm just bored, right? And they go, oh, okay, well, we'll just dial up. When did you want to study? What hours?
I want optimism around 8 p.m.
Okay, yeah. And which subjects?
Ancient history.
Ancient history. Oh, that one's a little bit hard. That costs extra. We'll just add it onto your. Do you have Hex?
Yes.
Okay, and how many Bitcoin do you owe us now?
I love it. Put
Yeah.
on Hex. Worry about it later.
But in Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, there was
yeah.
or maybe it was Brave New World. There was like a mood device. There was like a laptop, and you just dial up your mood, and then that's what you have. And Elon Musk's technology, actually, like Neuralink, is actually going towards this. I saw one of the competitors has a fucking drug cartridge, only in mice at the moment, but you just like clip in the drugs, and when you're like, fucking, Tuesday night, it's a bit slow. They just drop it in, boom,
Wow.
straight to the brain. And this is mice, Bluetooth. That's my favorite bit about this.
Oh.
Bluetooth drug delivery to the brain. Not like I'm going to plug a cable in the rat's head. No. That would be archaic. What are we, in the 90s? No. Bluetooth drug delivery to the brain.
What was the drug, do you know?
I don't remember. What should it have been?
Well, I'm just wondering if it was like some sort of SSRI.
You need like...
serotonin reuptake.
That's it. That's it. Antidepressant or something? Well,
yeah.
You need like something fun, something to relax you, something to focus, and something to take away pain and put you to sleep. I reckon that's my like palette if I had.
And I can see how like bosses would want their workers, you know, at big companies to take it so they could sort of control them better. Right?
It's very interesting. If you have a Neuralink, I wonder what ability your employer actually has over your rights, like whether you could compel someone. So right now, the law from like work law in Australia says my employee can't reasonably refuse to do something that I request, as long as it's legal, right? So if I'm like to my employee, like, you could just go get me a coffee, even if it's not in their job description, they kind of have to go get me a coffee. Otherwise, I can give them a written warning.
Right.
But if you're a Neuralink, can you like be like, okay, I want you to switch off your motivation to do anything other than work while you're here?
Yeah, for sure. And maybe they won't hire you unless you have a Neuralink. Wow.
Cyborg discrimination. Well, actually, it's human discrimination at that point.
Yeah, it is.
Cyborgs are going to get in. Okay.
Yeah. Before Facebook. And what about
sponsor us? We're going to go to a country that has decent internet.
Love it. Yes, or you can subscribe to our Twitch channel.
So I actually had, my flight got delayed when I was in America, and I got put up in a hotel in LA.
Yeah.
And they said, we're so sorry. We are so sorry. 700 megabit internet isn't available in your hotel room while we're doing renovations. Only 500 megabit connection.
What is it in Australia right now?
The fastest you can get is 100 megabit connection.
Yeah, wow.
And they were apologizing that it's 5 times faster than anything you can get in Australia. So
amazing. Wow. Neck Minute software to control your limbs is SaaS.
Software as a service.
Oh.
So you go to your
limb functions get cut off by tech companies if you're bored. No, they just want you to work harder.
You can rent them out to Amazon, and you can go to Amazon and they can control you like a puppet for hours of the day, and then at the end you get your limbs back. Oh, you paid off your rent.
Wow. Oh my god.
That might actually not be that far away, because there's a lot of this exoskeleton stuff happening in Australia now, happening all around the world. 2 of the companies are in Melbourne.
I'm really excited about exoskeletons for disabled people. That's what I'm most excited about. I'm like, fuck everyone that's rich or whatever wants to have it. Just I want disabled people to have it. That's what I want.
And I think it'll be really interesting about some of the life extension stuff, because one of the big things that happens as you get older is you get muscular atrophy.
Yes.
And I think part of life extension is like, okay, genetically we need to live longer, but it's about like living healthier for longer.
Life quality. Yeah.
Life quality, wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things about having an exoskeleton is the ability to be able to keep your muscle tone up.
Yeah.
Longer. So one of the big things life extension people look at is, how do we keep the muscle up? Because that's ultimately what causes, when you have falls and things like this, the really bad life-changing things.
Yeah. Wow. Hold on. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, we're down here. Neuralink platform lock-in. Thanks, Nathan. Would suck.
Mm.
That, and there will be an app store for reality. What's an app store for reality?
So interestingly, this actually happened with someone. So this week we saw Crack. They're actually called Cricket. They make like a
Oh yeah, what do they do?
uh,
Like a printing thing.
it's a vinyl cutter, right? Yeah. So it's
Right.
a printer with a knife, and you can put like, you know, you put logos on the back of your car that says like for sale or whatever. It's like this kind of device. Everyone bought their device, you know, their little thing for like, you know, a few $100s, $1,000. Like a few years later, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, next year, unless you subscribe to us, you can't actually use your device anymore.
Wow.
Like imagine that you just like bought a saucepan or something, and then like a year later, the company's like, oh, actually, wait a minute, you actually have to pay us $1 a year, otherwise you can't use the saucepan. If you sell it to someone else, they can't use it unless they pay us.
Yeah, that's really shocking behavior.
They backflipped on it, but you can tell that they want to do this thing. With Neuralink,
Yes.
that is a worry, right?
Yeah,
like what if they're like, yeah, actually, we changed our minds. We're going to shut off your ability to see, or you know, do that. Ooh, pretty scary.
Wow.
That's why bodily sovereignty over, you know, implants is so important.
And I can see you being the ultimate spokesperson for that.
I think deaf people is where it's really going to come in. I'm actually writing something at the moment about deaf culture and the way that they use technology, because you can shut off their cochlear implant. It doesn't really break the law.
Oh, really?
You remove a whole one of their senses. Well, they didn't have a sense before, so.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That needs to be looked at.
It will be looked at in court one day. I'm waiting for this court case.
Peter Ivinson says, "Hey, but at least it was entitled."
Yes.
As in, I think in reference to Elon Musk being like, you can stream Spotify to your brain.
What is Tidal?
Tidal is another music service created by, I think it was Jay-Z. So the idea is that it's better for musicians because musicians get a higher cut when you stream the music and it's music videos. So it's sort of like a YouTube as well, but you have to pay, I believe, to access it as well.
Like Spotify.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's the Stan of Netflix, right?
Yeah,
it's the Stan of music things. Have you used Clubhouse? Has anyone here used Clubhouse? I don't have an iPhone, so I don't think I can access it.
I have not used it. I'm on so many social medias. Do I need more?
What was your first social media?
MySpace. Or is MSN a social media?
I think it was.
Yeah, MSN.
MSN Messenger.
And then I didn't go to Bebo.
I went Bebo. Friendster. Friendster was really cool. MySpace was okay. What else was
I
there?
liked the customizability. MySpace was the first time I got into coding. Not that I've never visited it again, but there was a section where you had your top friends, which is just also like, I'm really glad we don't have that these days. You had to rank your friends, you know, from, you know, favorite to least favorite, and that became a really clicky thing in my high school. Like being like, oh, I've noticed that you haven't put me in your top friends list. You're out of the group. Like people actually thought about that in my all girls high school.
Buy time on their Neuralink. Make them slowly be like, oh wait, Meow's actually pretty cool. Let me put it on top friends.
So I was like, I don't want to be part of this like weird social like game that's happening. So I was like, okay, I'm going to customize that section of my MySpace page. So I just like found a way to recode it so it said like, instead of like Lucy has you know 300 friends, these are top friends, it said Lucy has 0 friends or 3 friends, and then it just had a picture of like a duck, a cow, and like a dog, and it was like it said duck, cow, and dog, like as in my friend section. And then if you clicked on it, it went to a funny video.
There you go. So nice of you. So nice of you. What would be?
I was like, I hate this social hierarchy.
What you're meant to do is have something in there so every person that visits the page, it says that they are your top friend.
Oh, that would have been the next
chaos.
And also like, why am I on here? Stephen Morello, I really appreciate all your
UFO videos. Okay, we're gonna actually try something. Do you want to see if we can watch this UFO video now?
Okay, while you open that, Stephen, I really appreciate all the links that you've sent this week and all the suggestions for topics. It's really cool. We appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up.
Yeah. Okay.
And now I'm gonna try something. So we should be able. We've never done this before. We're gonna share our screen. We're going to share this.
And Stephen's question is, have you seen the UFO videos and or seen any of the reports? What do you think explains some of these sightings?
Can we put this?
Let's see if we can open this video and share it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, can you guys all see us? I think we can. Okay. We're gonna watch this video live, and hopefully we're gonna get like cancelled by streaming something. We're gonna turn off the sound, and we're gonna give live commentary. Okay.
All right, let's see.
Deadline for Pentagon to discuss. Okay, so
hold on. Can we just check? Can you please comment to let us know if you can see that we're showing a UFO video? Imagine if we just have like we're just watching it and it's like
we can. Okay.
Thank you, Brennan.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll set it up hopefully next week. But deadline for Pentagon. Oh, and this is this Aurora video. This is this Aurora plane. When the internet started, all the conspiracy theories were like this triangular plane exists, right? Mm-hmm. And I reckon it does exist.
It's just a plane. It's just
a secret. It's like the worst kept military secret. And it's this triangular plane.
Right. So I wonder what he's saying. I'm curious about what the anchor's saying, actually.
Do you want to have a listen?
American people can see.
Oh. And it ended.
Now,
well, what did you guys think that was? That was so that there were 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. So 3 smaller lights surrounding one larger circular light in the sky. Is it a UFO? Is it just US military? And if so,
do you reckon it was a UFO?
So UFO only means unidentified flying object, and it doesn't necessarily mean alien spacecraft. Oh no, we've lost all our comments.
Hold on.
Have we? Oh no.
Chat overlay. Oh. We have a chat overlay on the screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is really good.
How do we? What happened to our comments?
Our comments went off.
Oh no, we lost all our amazing comments.
Please re-comment anything you just commented.
Yeah, let me just see if I can pull them up.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, what do we think? Do we think that? What do we think of those lights? What are they?
I reckon it was definitely. I reckon they do have this, but I reckon there's actually a bigger conspiracy though. I think that like, I hate to be that dude, but I reckon that this is like they've leaked this information for a really long time across the last like 25 years about this plane that they don't actually care about, and that it's actually a cover for something which is better, right?
Right.
But there's all this stuff about whether it's like there's a whole lot to it. Now, it's been interesting because in the past 5 years we've actually seen this like declassification of UFOs, and UFOs does not mean aliens.
Yeah, it just means unidentified flying object.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Exactly right. So, and thank you for.
Oh, I've got okay. No, we've still lost. Okay, we've still lost most comments.
That's all right.
But on Facebook, we can see a couple of them.
Oh, what did it say? Here we go. There's actually future me going back in time to mess with everyone. He went and deleted the comments.
Nice. And
what's the verdict? UFO?
I just think, identified flying objects. I don't think it's aliens. It's just.
It's hard though.
Could it be an environmental event?
Could be. Well, the thing is, it actually gets difficult when you have things like Photoshop and what's the After Effects. You can basically like I've seen stuff recently. I'm like, I don't actually know whether it's real or not, but oftentimes it doesn't matter, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So
by
I
that
saw
now?
someone do a physics demonstration the other day.
Yeah.
And halfway through, I realized it was actually a 3D model that was rendered perfectly.
A what model?
3D model.
3D model.
And it was just rendered perfectly. And then I'm like, oh, water doesn't flow like that.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm not watching something real. It's this simulation. But when you have stuff like that, you can't determine between reality or not. You know, if you go to the movies and they've got like, what is it, the latest superhero movie and it's photorealistic, you know it's not real when you go because you're paying to see fiction. Yeah. When you see stuff like this online, you're like, okay, is it fiction or not? You have to trust the news reports of the eyewitnesses. But if people have a vested interest in shutting that stuff down, it's like, well, who do you believe in that point in that case?
Interesting. Okay, so our belief is just that it's a UFO.
This was Brennan with his flying car from the future, he said. Could it be drones flying together in tight formation? Well, we've seen some amazing things. So China is actually really good with this. How they do instead of fireworks, they have.
So I've seen the most amazing drone shows in China over the Bund, and just like hundreds and hundreds of drones moving together, creating shapes in the sky with the different lights, and it's just like wow, technological wonder. It's really exciting. Yeah.
Do you think that they could create what we just saw with drones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So easily. So easily.
But
And
why would they do it? What's the motivation, right?
what's the motivation?
For the US government to create a drone show? Is it to distract people from the fact everyone's dying from coronavirus?
Yeah, so I guess we have to first ascertain whether they wanted it to be seen and whether it was just sort of like a test run. So
we
don't.
know the X-Files answer, which is that they're trying to desensitize the population for alien invasion, right? They're trying to get people primed and see how comfortable they are with the idea of alien invasion.
Totally. And how funny, we're so comfortable with the ideas of drones now anyway that we're like, oh yeah, it could just be drones, it's fine, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Could be aliens.
You know,
cares?
it's not so exciting.
We've got floods to deal with. We've got coronavirus. We can't be caring about aliens.
Even if it is aliens, we're like, oh, it's fine. You do your thing. We have to deal with our thing.
Have they been vaccinated? They're asking the real questions. The DJI FPV drone can go 140 k's an hour. That's really fast.
Wow.
What's the fastest you've ever been on land?
I don't know. Oh, I know. In the maglev train.
Oh wow.
So China bought like the rights, I believe, for the maglev train, which was German engineered, I think. And so you can take it from the Shanghai airport just to Shanghai, or I think to Beijing.
I think you can take it to Beijing.
And it's so fast, and it gets up to, oh my god, I can't remember. I think it's 300. Oh, okay. I want to be careful about what number I give.
If anyone knows how fast it goes, and also there was a comparison the other day made to show the distance between Shanghai and Beijing, right?
Yeah.
And how fast it is compared to the same distance in America. And there was two famous cities in America they did. I saw this in a meme this week.
Yeah. And
it was like, this is like under an hour, and then there it's like
just taking it from the airport to my house in China was just amazing. It's like, oh my god, what is this amazing feat of technology? What is taking it from the airport home? Like, oh my god.
Should we have bullet train in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everywhere and everyone should have a bullet train. I loved it. And you don't really feel like, you can sort of tell because everything's incredibly fast. But you're fairly, you don't need a seatbelt, like you can be fairly.
Did you feel safe on there?
Yeah.
Did you feel it accelerate?
I felt very safe in China on a number of things. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I felt really safe. Yeah. And it has a counter in each carriage as to how many kilometers per hour you're going. You're like,
just in case you forget by looking outside.
Yeah. And it's just fun to watch the numbers go up.
I'm actually disappointed that I never got to fly in a Concorde jet, right?
Right. What's that?
Supersonic. So all of the planes now,
sound coming behind it.
It goes faster than the speed of sound. It goes Mach 2 and above, right? Like commercial jets don't go that fast, but you could build them. Concorde was an example of this. So you used to fly from Heathrow to Paris or something like that. Right. And fly. It's the maglev train of the sky, right? Yeah. And it had the indicator to show you how fast you're going, and when you hit the sound barrier, everyone, and it was they marketed it as like a boutique experience. So you go and everyone cheers with the champagne when you break the sound barrier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which would be really cool.
I love that. That's so cool.
It sadly there were some problems and it got shut down. So no Concords anymore. But maybe Elon Musk might bring it back. You never know. Now where are we on the?
And just before
your mum is flooded in.
My mum is
Liz.
Okay, but she loves it.
She loves it.
My mum loves like environmental, like she loves storms, floods. She doesn't like the damage it causes, but she loves.
Pluviophilic. Do you like the rain?
Pluviophilic. I do. I am. Yes.
I am a massive pluviophile. Actually on the way here, I pulled over because I saw some mushrooms on the side of the road.
Fantastic.
The rain came and I was like, oh, I thought they were delicious. I went over, they were not delicious mushrooms.
Did you try one on the way here tonight?
It looks very similar. So there's this drumstick looking mushroom called a shaggy mane, and it's my favorite one. You can't buy it in the supermarkets. You have to pick it. And wow. It goes off really quickly. It goes off in one day. So you have to pick them, and I was going to buy them to take home to make a risotto. No such luck.
To make a risotto. How cool. You don't need to go to yeah.
Your mum is a weather freak.
Yes, this is so funny. So there's this joke about my mum, like at her workplace, because people in their breaks, they'll go on Instagram and Facebook and they'll browse Reddit. My mum just goes on the Bureau of Meteorology website. every day. She loves it. She finds it so interesting just watching the weather patterns.
It's
And
really,
so people will
really
be like,
common.
what's Liz doing? Oh, she's on bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like,
Am
that's
I
like
right, Mum?
at every workplace there's one person who just loves bomb.
Yeah.
But we need them. It's like
Yeah.
you need a fire warden, you need your union rep, and you need the person who makes sure you've got your umbrella. Right?
Yes, for
Like,
sure.
they're like,
So if there's a storm, my mum will go driving just to follow it to see what's
amazing.
happening. Yeah. So I guess it's like that movie Twister, right?
Yeah.
Where they follow the twister
Mhm.
around. Yeah, I imagine being. It's good that we don't live near any twisters. Yeah, she
It
gives
is
a thumbs
good.
up. It's true.
There you go.
Anyway.
Now we've got so Ray is one of my friends from China who
Cool.
actually ran for the science party in Campsie.
Amazing.
And represented generally with the science party, there's a huge focus on like just technology, but this actually had a huge focus about the relationship between Chinese immigrants in Australia and policy and how did those people get represented and stuff, which was fantastic. A lot of what I know about China actually comes from Ray. So he said that he has an app you can download on the Chinese high-speed rail that you can use to access the onboard Wi-Fi as well as see your journey status and other info. So
yeah, right. I think I remember something like that.
I've had that on the back of the seat when I've been on a plane internationally. You can see like the cameras outside the plane, so you can like.
Yes, I know. Yeah, when you're on the
Yeah.
flight, you can see, and it's just like white out
It
or
is.
something.
Every
It's not
day.
that interesting,
No.
but every now and then you're like, oh, maybe I'll see something cool. Hi, Burak. R5 Uymas.
But I love I love seeing where you are and going to sleep and then waking back up. And it's been, in fact, we're a bit of a plane now. We're kind of. Are you window seat or are you aisle?
I'm window seat, but I'm not looking out. I'm just sleeping in the window.
No, don't be one of them.
I'm just asleep.
I'm window and I'm like out the entire time.
Love it. That's
Love
cool.
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I know. I appreciate you. Hey, I just want to pull up these comments from Tom Jerry. As an alien, I'm very disappointed in your exposure of our existence. I'm sorry. But also, there was this other comment that he see here where he said, but I love this broadcast. My dad is a professor and I'm not that good. I wondered whether either of you felt pressure to perform. Thank you. And I just was wondering, pressure to perform in what way? Tom, could you just let us know?
I think on the stream. I think basically this stream pretty much came about because Lucy and I just both love talking shit non-stop. And both have good conversations.
We discussed, well, I discussed with Meow. I asked, okay, so what's the reason? Why do we want to do this stream? And I loved your answer. Do you remember what your answer was? I just love to talk.
And also Nathan said Twitch is promoting people who do live broadcasts to locals. So we're like, fuck it, we're going to start streaming and get all the content on Twitch to join our channel.
My reasoning is I actually don't think I have that much that's very interesting to say.
Everyone in the comments is like, oh, Lucy has so much interesting stuff to say. I want to hear more about China.
I appreciate that. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I just think it's cool for us to all create another place. All of us who are interested in science and technology can get together to talk about stuff, and then we can all create content together. So I think that's really cool.
I also have a starstruck moment this week.
Oh,
I had a famous Chinese person accept my friend request. Oh, Naomi Wu, who is the sexy cyborg.
Oh, I actually don't know.
She's from Shenzhen. And she's a hardcore maker, and she actually was very popular last year. So she makes things, and like broadly, like I'm a biohacker, and then other people do 3D printing, and other people do sewing, but we broadly call ourselves like makers. There's like hackers, but hackers don't necessarily create stuff, right?
Okay.
But generally, people who are like building stuff or like trying to make cool new things, we just call ourselves makers. It's just easier. Or hackers, makers and hackers, kind of the same thing. She's a very famous maker because she actually makes a lot. Super cool stuff. There was a very famous clip that went viral where she had a mini skirt and she had LEDs underneath it, so there was light coming out under her skirt. And it's very China can be very pro-sex sometimes, and she does it in a way that makes white Americans uncomfortable a lot of the time. And she butts up against the kind of the older white male hegemony in technology.
All right.
And there was a big fight between her and some very prominent tech people in the past couple of years that kind of actually just gave her a huge platform.
Yeah, I always find the people that get annoyed that they're just the ones with the most to lose.
That's definitely it.
When she finds success, that's
and she actually she became really popular in WeChat groups. on Twitter and a whole bunch of other stuff, which is really interesting. So
Cool.
yeah, really cool. And I
Love that.
love her style, and she's
Yeah.
she's pro augmentation, which I'm definitely down with. So
Yeah, as in microchips.
Microchips. She does like massive boob implants that she puts lights underneath, that makes them glow, and
Wow.
yeah, she's a very modified human. She's pro augmentation and pro technology. I'm I like tattoos. I like microchips. I like people's ability to not have them too. I think it's very important. Freedom to augment and freedom from augmentation. And this is like this going to become a lot more popular a topic the more that we get things like Neuralink and stuff like this.
Yeah. Raises, oh my god, wow, congrats. Can't wait to see a Naomi X Meow collab in the future.
You never know.
Do you want some light up titties?
Mate, why does everyone always try to give me the weird implants? Someone tried to, there was like a group of people trying to put the saline implant underneath my head to give me the donut. I don't want the donut.
Everyone just thinks that you're down for it.
Maybe I'll get titties. You never know. I don't think they'd suit me, but like maybe. I think what I'd like is I want, if I was going to do a crossover with Naomi, I think I would like something that was interactive. I would like some implants that maybe not titties, maybe like something underneath my skin that changed with mood. But she's a
glow ring, like a mood ring, true mood ring. That's so cool. I am interested in like microchips and things, but I don't know that my body is necessarily strong enough to be able to deal with it. I think I've got a sensitive immune system, like allergies already. I don't know if my body's up for it, so I feel like I'm just applauding everyone else who's doing it and getting into it.
I think maybe you could have something that augments your day-to-day life. What would you have? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Like stretches.
Oh yeah. This is why you want your bloody exoskeleton.
Yeah. It feels so good to stretch when you wake up and you're like, and then I fell back asleep. What I do is I check that I don't have like any urgent messages on my phone.
So maybe what you could do is you have Neuralink, you have priority line. If there's anything urgent, they can tell you. And if you open your eyes and there's nothing priority line, you're fine.
That's cool. I love that you just came up with that idea. That's so cool.
There you go. It's just what I do is, so you can't put a patent down if someone's already said it, right? So I'm just robbing Elon Musk of every fucking idea for Neuralink that he might possibly
and this is being recorded.
That's it. That's prior art, Elon. If you go back to 2021.
But implant bongos.
Suck it, Elon. You're never going to get it. So one of my favorite games for Nintendo GameCube was a bongo-controlled game. Right? And you came with these little bongos. It was called Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, and you played the game by like playing little songs on the bongos. And we're fucking two piezoelectric sensors and one scalpel away from having this as a video game controller. You know what? I would let you know what? If someone can convince Naomi Wu to play a game by slapping on my butt, I will invent and get butt implant sensors to Bluetooth to the fucking computer.
Because look, your microchip's currently very cool, very cool, very niche, but butt implant.
Tom wants to get us a pizza. Tom, you can totally get us a pizza next time for dinner. We would love that. Would be awesome. And I think it's really interesting. They said he said that being children of a professor means that they're children.
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. And I think it's a really hard thing. Like I know a lot of children of professors and really high profile, interesting people, and it is kind of like tricky. You know, a lot of these, a lot of the people don't do anything similar to what their parents did. And I think it would be very, very difficult to have someone that's like, in fact, no, it's a split. It's like maybe like 50-50. I know, I was just thinking, there's a few people I know. Yeah,
you either sort of go like, just, I don't know, like wildly creative, if you've got really academic parents, wildly creative, or you sort of follow in their footsteps, right?
But I think really you decide.
Or you're a disappointment.
Yeah, but I think the thing is as well, like I think ultimately you kind of decide your own path. But I think as well, like I'm of the mind that as long as you're happy with your life, you've done okay. I think the hard thing is that
Yeah.
sometimes it sets an expectation that you have to achieve very high things. But achievement can be anything. Like achievement could just be like, with the set of conditions I've got, I just fucking woke up in the morning. Right?
Maybe you've got like serious depression. Maybe you're missing limbs. Like
Yeah.
However, you don't have to meet the same sort of
Yeah.
goalposts that.
And I think that's
Yeah.
one thing that COVID kind
Getting
of
through it.
COVID did this really well. It set our bars for everyone really low. They're like, you know what? If you're just not feeling it, maybe you don't have to go into work. Maybe you can just put your pajamas on and just dial in. And one of the great things about this pandemic and technology was this thing that we don't all have to be physically in the same space. We have the internet. We have mobile phones. We have an okay connection with NBN. But we don't all need to be physically in one location to be able to do our work. And I don't think the workplace is ever going to be the same. And decentralization of the workplace is really good because all of a sudden we can go and work in the country. We can go and work at the beach.
And uniting our minds just through technology.
That's it. And we don't all have to be on the 9 a.m. train either. Like we've got things like Airtasker now, which is changing the nature of work. So you can do work ad hoc. So you can do 3 hours here, 3 hours there. And it's really great. We're talking about COVID long haulers.
Yeah.
We're going to have a huge amount of the workforce that is like basically fucked, right?
Yes.
They're not going to be able to catch a train. They're not going to be able to work for 8 hours at a time. The whole work environment and workforce is going to change.
Yes.
Especially in America. I think it's a good thing ultimately. I think with things like a universal basic income or some kind of support, it's okay. If we can decouple work from income and like make it so people don't die if they don't go to work, we're actually going to see some really exciting stuff come out from that. Hello, Amy.
Amy, love you very much. Everyone, Amy is my very good friend.
Also, butt implant bongos is my like take home from this. This is my inspiration for the next week. Are we going up or down? We're going down here.
We're going down. Amy, do you know about Naomi Wu? I'm curious. I think you'd be interested in her stuff.
Stephen Morello brought up, by the way, someone who's hilarious. So tell us some very smart people who also had some really silly ideas. Now, Carrie Mullis, right? I have a story. So Carrie Mullis basically invented this device that started the whole genetics industry. It photocopied DNA. And my test is a version of this that I'm doing now, right?
Wow.
He won a Nobel Prize for it.
Wow.
But he is seriously fucking cooked.
It's cool.
Like, he came up with the idea while he was on LSD.
Wow.
And it worked.
Wow.
He won the Nobel Prize for it, and then he just sent the whole of the industry into disrepute.
Can you explain that a little bit more in depth? Yep.
So he basically made this the molecular biology is very instrument heavy, right?
Okay.
You can't do molecular biology without wham bam fancy machines, and he invented the first and still workhorse of the whole molecular biology industry. It just photocopies DNA.
Wow.
It photocopies DNA very specifically.
Yes.
Super
because
important.
You've told me over time, the photocopies they start to photocopy errors, right?
But also, like, how do you go looking for DNA? It's so small, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make enough of it, you can see it, right? See whether it's there or not. So, and he invented the way to do this. Super cool. Anyway, he won a Nobel Prize for it. He thanked Albert Hoffman, the guy that invented LSD, for giving him the ability to win his thing. Now, what's interesting is, he doesn't believe HIV causes AIDS.
Oh.
He doesn't believe the Holocaust happened.
Oh.
He believes in astrology, and he left science after winning a Nobel Prize to become a baker. But he's also radically dynamic. So you see, he goes surfing across the road from Scripps, which is Southern California Research Institute, so that he can go surfing with all the scientists because he's like infamous, right?
Wow.
Just to like troll them. One day I was walking home when I lived in Newtown, and a security guard who was at the back of the Enmore Theatre and I started having a conversation. And this actually ties in well. Stephen will absolutely love this. He asked me what I did, and I said I studied genetics.
Yeah.
And he said, interesting. I'm friends with Dr. Carrie Mullis. And I'm like, what the hell? How do you know Dr. Carrie Mullis?
Yes.
I have the only biological evidence for the existence of aliens. And Dr.
Alright.
Kerry Mullis
All right.
sequenced it for me. And I'm like, okay, I put my bag down and I'm like, okay, you got me.
I mean,
Let's talk about it.
what did he say?
He said, I said, so how did this all happen? He goes, well, one day I was lying in bed
Yeah.
and through the window, an Asian alien came in. This is important because he doesn't like Asians sexually. And the alien had unconsensual sex with him, burnt pubic hairs into his genital area, and then left. And he took these hairs at the base of them was a skin sample that he got sequenced, and it was definitely human, but no combination of human that Dr. Kerry Mullis had ever seen. And I'm like, you've got to give me this DNA sequence. And he's like, you can have it if you buy the book.
Did you buy the book?
No fucking way did I buy that book.
I'm sorry.
But that is a real good way to troll people, because like I want that sequence, but I'm never gonna pay for it, right?
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't believe any of it.
But he believes it because I went and researched this dude.
Yeah.
He goes on like Current Affair all the time, and he takes polygraphs, and he believes that he's been abducted.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, if you believe it, then polygraph's sort of, I think, easy because you're speaking the truth, your truth.
That's it.
Right?
He actually set up this, and he's like in with it. Like he set up like the Australian abductee network.
Wow.
And I didn't realize. And he's just like when he's not getting abducted, he's like doing security for the Enmore Theatre.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Stephen, I also want to talk about silly. So, like smart people had really silly ideas. When I was in China, there was a traveling exhibition, and it was the Museum of Failures, and it was all these products that had been failures, and some of them were so interesting. And there was I'd actually love to go more in depth on this next week because I took photos of, like, I just got too excited. I think I took a photo of like 100 different items. Like, for example, Colgate came out with a lasagna. The brand Colgate.
Not lasagna flavored toothpaste.
No, just lasagna that they sold in like Woolworths, for example. But no one wanted to buy it because they're like, oh, Colgate toothpaste. I don't want lasagna. But even though it was just normal
It
lasagna.
hasn't always failed though, because like Yamaha make
pianos
and
motorbikes. Motorbikes. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them were so interesting. I just have to, so I want to look this up and report back to you next week because it was so funny. They had a spray-on condom.
Interesting.
Like in an aerosol can.
Did it work?
I can't remember.
Like when you say failures, these are like commercial failures, right?
No, so I think
Colgate made a successful lasagna.
Yeah, so they
like
released them. They weren't like they went through the testing phase. So I believe that worked as well. They had a ticket to the Titanic.
Really? that is awesome.
This failure. They had all these Trump items. They had one section which had all these businesses that Trump had created that had failed, including an airline and like alcohol. They had the video game No Man's Sky in there.
So I played No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It was a failure, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I heard it described.
Yeah.
So basically, you could there was infinite planets, basically. You can go to them, they all had new creatures on them.
Yeah.
But they're all basically the same.
Yeah, same sort of copy-paste.
So I heard the quote, the game was a mile wide and an inch deep.
Oh.
Basically, once someone reviews your product as that, it goes into the Museum of Failures.
This was such a great museum. I don't know if you guys ever hear of it, and when we can travel again, you should absolutely go. It was so interesting.
If you each had $1 billion, what would you do when you woke up tomorrow? What's important to you?
Oh man, I would go and I would need to figure that out. I would just need to. I'd probably see like a financial advisor. I'd see a psychologist.
Fuck, that's clever. I would not see a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Not first.
I would see. I would have to figure out what's important. So I'm not quite sure because I need to figure that out.
Stability, right? Forward thinking, that's important to you. You don't make a decision straight away. So straight away, I was like,
what did you think?
I want to buy a fucking gigantic property somewhere in rural New South Wales in a mountainous area, excavated multiple levels, and just set up a fucking research lab where I can have self-contained ecosystems filled with animals. So when climate change comes to kill all of us, my like Arc version 2.0 will
Ark
exist.
version 2.0.
And I will call myself an archaeologist, A-R-K.
I thought you
right?
thought about
Change my name to Noah 2.
Noah
Electric
2.
Boogaloo. I'm back.
It's done,
That's
sorted. That's the answer you wanted. That's an interesting answer.
Yeah.
Creative, funny, quirky, but realistic too. Yeah. So I guess that's so funny. My answer is like I have to consolidate resources and think about how to best spend this money for the good of the world. How to like then maximize, like how to build on that money to create even more change.
Is it that's good for the world?
That's certainly one of my primary drives.
Is this why we're poor?
Huh?
Is this why we're poor? Because
This is
everyone
why
with $1
we're
billion,
poor.
only a few of them seem to actually do what's good for the world.
Yeah, and I have like a million great product and company ideas, but I'm
Yeah.
like, but the toll that would take on the earth for those to make me rich.
Because Jenna Reinhart's
wanna do it.
not there going, I've got $3.45 billion. Wonder what I can do for the good of the world. She's like, how can I import African workers and get them to work here for $2 a day? That's literally what. Can I read you something?
Yeah, for sure. If it's interesting.
10. Whoever can guess what I'm about to read can title.
Give us a direction.
Okay, because if you can guess, this is honestly one
Tom,
of the,
what would you do? I'm interested to hear what you would do if you had $1 billion. Oh, and I was thinking $1 million. You actually said $1 billion. Okay.
That's a lot. of
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. All right. So, yep.
money. Okay.
What was the direction? What are you going to read?
So, did we get a guess?
But it could be anything in the universe. Give me a direction.
It's related to Jenna Reinhardt.
Gina Reinhardt. Ooh, no idea. Or maybe some like quirky, weird thing that she's done.
She writes poetry.
There we go. Oh, let's read a poem. Okay.
Actually, I've read it. I'm gonna get you to read it.
I'd love to read it.
It's quite long, but we all need to listen to this, right? Like,
Right.
Seriously, if you haven't read this, it's like, imagine she's the richest person in Australia, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, please introduce who Gina Reinhardt is.
And she's a fucking bitch. She's rich. She's rich because her
Gina Reinhardt, who is she?
She's okay. Her dad basically made all this money, and then she just inherited it, and she thinks that she's some like fucking, marketing genius. Her dad, like literally is on record, being like, maybe we should just poison the water in Aboriginal communities just to get rid of them all.
Oh.
Like seriously insanity. And she just inherited all his money and like cut off all the other members of the family because she doesn't think they deserve it.
Wow.
Anyway, let's read her poetry.
Anyway, so she's a billionaire?
Richest person in Australia, I think.
Richest person in Australia, in our little exotic island country, has written a poem. She has a creative side. Let me now
we don't necessarily have to read the whole thing. We're gonna
Our Future. That's the title. Oh my God, what's she going to say? This is on businessinsider.com.au. The globe is sadly groaning with debt, poverty and strife, and billions now are pleading to enjoy a better life. Their hope lies with resources buried deep within the earth and the enterprise and capital which give each project worth. Is our future threatened with massive debts run up by political hacks who dig themselves out by unleashing rampant tax? The end result is sending Australian investment, growth and jobs offshore. This type of direction is harmful to our core. Some envious, unthinking people have been conned to think prosperity is created by waving a magic wand. Gina Reinhardt knows. Through such unfortunate ignorance, too much abuse is hurled against miners, workers, and related industries who strive to build the world, develop North Australia, embrace multiculturalism, and welcome short-term foreign workers to our shores. That was a long one. To benefit from the export of our minerals and ores. Almost done. The world's poor need our resources. Do not leave them to their fate. Our nation needs special economic zones and wiser government before it's too late.
I liked foreign workers from foreign shores rhyming with oars. That was, and the other one was the rhyming
weird.
Political hacks with tax.
That was so weird.
We were talking earlier on about futures in freestyle mining careers. I think Gina Reinhardt might have one.
I'm generally
This is off the fucking hook, like insanity.
I'm generally appreciative and encouraging of anyone's like creativity. But
Can you imagine publishing that? Like, actually,
it's like
how?
a kid's like primary school project.
But she thinks she's a genius. Like, fucking hell. Like,
Wow,
inches.
wild.
Okay.
All right, back to it. You can't call Trump smart though. He thought drinking bleach, might help. I know, crazy.
What are we up to? Linus Pauling. Oh, yes, a lot of Nobel Prize winners go crazy after they win Nobel Prizes. I actually read one, which was a guy who was involved in discovering the immune system, and he went into homeopathy, but like really crazy scientific homeopathy. So it's like you don't know it's homeopathy until you're halfway through the paper, and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
This is pseudoscience. It's crazy when you read it too.
Stuff. Where are we up to? We're jumping around the comments.
Fridges,
aircons,
rail carriages, tanks, and magic wands. Oh, this is Hitachi, the company, about people who make crazy things, like Colgate's making lasagnas.
Yes.
Hitachi, fridges, aircons, rail carriages, tanks, and magic wands.
Wow,
that's actually that's pretty good spread.
That is it's covered all bases.
With spread, we use
And Linus Pauling won 2 Nobel Prizes and went in to be a proponent of vitamin C megadosing.
Megadosing, yeah.
Hey, wait a second. What was that?
Well, it's not good for you.
So is it just taking a lot of vitamin C?
Yeah, I think it is.
Guys, I've done this.
I forget what it's meant to do.
I've done this.
I accidentally done it. When I was a kid, I just loved the flavour of those lollies so much.
I've done this via IV.
No!
I've done vitamin C megadosing.
Hardcore!
Yeah.
How was it?
I did 6 weeks of it. It was very, very expensive. It was $300.
Whereabouts in Australia?
In Australia, there are quite a few clinics that do it. I did it because I had a health issue that I wanted to, and I wanted to see if it would help. It didn't help me.
It didn't help.
It didn't help.
Mm.
So the health issue wasn't solved by it. And so it was something like 100 mils of vitamin C pumped directly into my vein.
Holy shit.
Around it took maybe half an hour. Different people with different veins, obviously. I think it was mixed with saline or Hartmann solution. And I actually put a few other vitamins in there, including what was it? I think it was
how long did it take?
Maybe vitamin B, maybe glutathione, maybe some magnesium. My body took it really well. I've got good veins.
Yeah.
Basically, So I did it weekly. You're meant to see after a couple of months to see if it's like, it should work sort of basically straight away or the next day. But you get very cold afterwards because you've just been pumped with all this cold liquid into your body. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, it didn't quite work for me, but I just love that you wrote that megadosing. Yeah, and there were a lot of cancer patients in the clinic. Trying
should they allow?
So it's not currently covered by Medicare because it's still thought of as experimental. I think it should be allowed. Why shouldn't it be allowed?
Because I wonder whether it's like preying on like whether it's giving people false hope, right?
I think that.
So some people think that vitamin C can stop cancer, right? And
or that it can maybe help in fighting it. Yeah.
And one of the things is like when I go to the chemist and I see like homeopathic treatments or like magnet bracelets and stuff like this, I'm like, should they really be selling this? Because we know that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That they're taking advantage of people who maybe haven't done as much research. Or
I guess we don't know that it doesn't work with vitamin C megadosing. We're not quite sure.
I think the thing is, it's like how much responsibility does the government have to stop things that maybe are unproven? Because melatonin is actually unproven.
Right.
But it has some of the strongest clinical evidence for it probably works. And I can tell you right now, it either works or it's a really good fucking placebo.
Yeah.
Because have you had melatonin?
Yeah.
Knocks me the fuck out every time.
Yeah, it didn't really have an effect for me. Yeah.
So yeah. But does it, right? Maybe it's a little white pill I eat before I go to bed, and when I eat it, I'm like, oh, it's bedtime, and then my brain switches off.
As you said with the magnetic bracelet and stuff, even if it doesn't necessarily work, but it's placebo for people, I think people should be allowed to spend money on it, even if they, we don't know for sure it doesn't work.
The thing that becomes a problem is when people will take the placebo over actual medicine, right?
Yes, I know.
And that's when it becomes a problem. And this is like, Pete Evans territory.
But is it their choice then?
Well, yeah, it's Pete Evans territory because he's
misinformation. Pete Evans is terrible.
He'll say, oh, you're not actually diabetic. You just need to eat the paleo diet or whatever. Yeah. I was like, well, no, that's against the law. I think, and this is why I think it's good of them as being complementary treatments.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, well, there's medicine and then there's other stuff which we're still working out.
Yeah.
Give it a go if you want, but don't think of it as a replacement for that. But I think if there's no hope, give people placebitol.
Placebitol? What's that?
Yeah, that's it. It's this little red pill I made, and it cures your cancer.
Oh.
Take it.
Right.
because can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
If you got no other treatment.
Yeah, for sure. And we should wrap it up soon. We're almost at
we
an hour and
should.
a half. Although I love to hit the 100 comments.
Or it might not because we had the
That's true. We
thing,
might not hit that today.
but we've been. I think we might be on 100 comments across everything anyway. Oh, hold on. Did we? Let's go back. No, it came back.
Yeah.
We actually made a big screen and then we lost it. So
Yeah.
where are we?
Let's jump down. And also,
this is
Tom,
it.
I would totally be selfish. I would fund big science projects. I think AI, climate change, high-speed rail would warrant some of it. Cool, man.
Yeah, I think
it's hobby
it pretty much climate change is that one that we all know needs to be funded. But I think as the older generation loses some of the money, gets passed down, hopefully we'll see it. The values and ideas kind of change.
Totally. And Amy said, if you could switch bodies with anyone for a day, who would you pick? Great question. I have to think about it.
Really? My girlfriend, straight up.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. How did you know? How did you know? Like, and why?
That's what I would do, straight up, like, of course.
And why?
We're not going to go into that.
Okay, sure. I guess
because she's my girlfriend's beautiful, and I think I spend the most time with her, so I'd like to see what it's like from her perspective.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good response.
What everything is like from her
So
perspective.
everyone, I really like to think about things very slowly and like introspectively before giving an answer. That's why I usually go to have.
What famous person would you swap bodies with?
You know what? I thought of like I love like as I was growing up, I love Lady Gaga, but she has chronic hip pain. I don't want that body. No. So I don't do that. But you know what? I would love the access that some celebrities have to meeting so many cool people, right?
Yeah.
So I would just go for the person who has the most access to meeting as many people as possible. So yeah, someone sort of just very famous, who hasn't been cancelled yet.
I might go Kanye.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just be like, nah, just kidding. All my career, just a joke. I just want to get everyone following me.
Oh, right.
And then I'll just push forward my own agenda.
So
I'll just be
rather
like
than
universal basic income, like space programs, climate change, and just like use his massive fan base to just do that.
Right. So rather than just experiencing their body for a day, actually using that day to create positive change.
And then be at the end, be like, and if I come back and say anything different tomorrow, I'm just trolling you again.
Totally. I love that. Well then, okay, I'd be Biden. Yeah.
Biden?
Yeah, I'd go try and
what would you do?
I'm not sure.
What's the first thing you do as president?
Just lick the desk.
Lick the desk. You wouldn't want to do that in Australia.
You know what's the desk called? The
Oval Office.
The Oval, like the White House desk.
It's lickable.
Just because people would be like, "What was the first thing you did?" And I'd be like, "I licked the desk."
I reckon all the presidents lick that desk. That desk is lickable, right? Like
they'd be like, "What did you do with the precious time that you had?"
Would you clean it first?
Oh my God, I don't know. We're thinking too much about this. Yeah. Let's move on.
Should all doctors prescribe additional homeopathic remedy? Because of placebo. You know what? I'm going to say yes.
I think if people want it, yes.
Also, funnily enough, if you want to be a real like pedant, homeopathy means the same fight, right? So it's fighting fire with fire. So what they do is in like traditional homeopathy, the pseudoscience, they will take like, you know, a bit of arsenic and they'll water it down until there's no arsenic left. And they'll say, if you drink this, it protects you against arsenic. But vaccines are actually a homeopathic medicine, if you think about it like that, right? Which is hilarious because the people who don't like vaccines are people who love homeopathy.
Yeah, totally.
So I love trolling them with this. When we take like an antibiotic to kill a bacteria, it's allopathy. It's using the opposite to fight it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fighting fire with water. But I reckon, why not? If my doctor said, "Oh, take this," yeah, why not? Sometimes I think you want peace of mind. Like sometimes, I remember one doctor who just wrote me a prescription when I had a cold for antibiotics. I'm like, but it's virus, and he goes, "Yeah, but you come to the doctor, you probably want a prescription."
Oh.
Someone prescribe me some fucking water and don't breathe.
So many doctors need to like be better, be so much more on their game. Far out. So many egos come into play. It's terrible. All right. Last comments. Ooh.
So cute. Thank you, Tom. People.
That's my sound.
Think of, is that the? Ooh. It's very Doctor Who. The TARDIS.
Ooh. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
People think of what to do when they swap to the other person, But what would they do in your body?
Oh my
what
god,
would
you're so
Kanye,
right.
what would Kanye, what would Biden do in your body?
I don't know. You'd probably go out and party.
I reckon, yeah. I reckon he'd probably enjoy. Well, is Biden the one that likes pulling ponytails or sniffing ponytails?
Yeah,
is a Biden thing. I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
He'd probably just.
He'd probably be like, "What's it like to be a girl?" And then it's I don't know. No.
I think he sniff. I think he'd sniff your pony. I think he'd put the ponytail up and sniff.
Yeah.
Get a
He'd do some weird shit, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm ready. I'm willing to sacrifice my body for one day
To be
for the
able to
good of
record
the
that
earth.
shit. What would Kanye do in my body?
Oh, yeah. What would he do? What would Kanye do in Meow's body?
Probably he would
Wow.
sit in. Do you know what Kanye's biggest regret is?
You what? You got his
I know exactly what he'd do. His biggest regret in life.
All right.
What do you think?
Oh, what?
Kanye's biggest regret in life is that he will never see himself perform live.
Oh, I love that. Such a good
Amazing. Absolutely.
That's a great
Can you imagine
answer.
thinking about it for a while and be like, yeah, I think that's the saddest thing is I'll never be able to see my own brilliance.
His ego is so large. He's like, I just want to witness it.
Right?
That's me. He's the ultimate narcissist.
He is. That's what, he and Trump have dragon energy, right?
Dragon energy.
Dragon energy.
Dragon? Why dragon?
I don't know. Do you think we have dragon energy?
Oh yeah.
I think we have little dragon energy.
Yeah. Oh no.
Like that dragon out of Mulan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Mushu.
Mushu. That's
We
right.
have serious Mushu
Mushu
energy.
energy.
We're just waiting to
A
level
little
up.
dragon, yeah.
I love that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Once humans have all gotten the vaccine, should their pets get? That was a very interesting question. I think we'll wrap up on that. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I reckon. So I actually think that animals and humans should be vaccinated alongside. Pets getting vaccinations, yes, but I also think livestock should get this vaccination. But I think that humans and animals should be done according to what the World Health Organization recommends. And I think a big thing. Your mum's just posted the most random comment ever.
It's a personal joke.
Oh, about which?
Pikachu, the Pokemon.
What about it? Is this who you're swapping bodies with?
No. Oh, Mum, is this who you would?
Or is this who you were vaccinating?
She just. I think my mum just liked the word when I was younger and interested in Pokemon, and she would just say it sometimes. So this is just her teasing me. Yeah.
So I think so. They wiped out the entirety of the mink population basically in Europe because they worried about them transmitting COVID.
Right.
But I think we should actually prioritize developing nations for the vaccine now. And then places like Australia that are pretty much like COVID free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think animals definitely should get a vaccination for it, but that's like down the track. But it depends on how well we contain it. Because the problem is with this, like China's very good at like vaccinating, right? And it's very good at containing. So before the vaccine even came out, they've gotten coronavirus under control. Places like the Middle East, though, MERS got into the camel population.
Oh.
So it's endemic there. MERS will always be around.
Really?
Yeah. And that's fucked, right? That's what you want to stop. Like, if all the cats in America have COVID, well, guess what? Like, we can't, you want to get rid of it there too. And this touches on a much bigger problem. How do we live with nature and animals and farming of animals?
Yeah.
Like high intensity farming, when we have these rapid pandemics that are just coming back again and again, like they have been, because we've had fucking like 5 epidemics or more this century.
Yes.
And like everyone loves to blame China. China was like responsible for a couple of. We had MERS, Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. We've had Ebola. We've had a Russian outbreak. Like these things are not China based, and a lot of Asians are getting hate in America for it. This is what happens when you have globalization. You have large populations living in close proximity to animals, and especially high intensity animal farming. That's when you get this stuff happening. That's it. And we're talking a lot about wet markets being vectors for this, but like this happens regardless of that. It just happens when you have animals and humans living together.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Oh, sorry, I just started laughing halfway through because my mom said Pikachu energy. That's the energy we've got.
Do we have? I think we have. I'm happy with Pikachu energy.
Yeah, Pikachu energy or Charmander energy. Yeah.
My favorite episode with the Pikachus was where they put them to work making renewable energy.
I think I remember something like that. Oh,
shoot
I
the
love
electricity on.
That's ingenious.
Elon Musk would totally run plants with
He
Pikachus.
would
Yeah.
for them to work. And he says, yes, my colleague had that MERS, right?
And I know someone
Wow.
here who got swine flu.
Really?
Just randomly.
Ooh, randomly.
Don't know
That's
how
a
they
worry.
got it. Like she's like 19 at the moment.
Wow.
She got swine flu.
Oh my god.
She went to the doctor.
Did
and
she
they're like,
recover completely?
Yep. But there's an outbreak of it happening now, and we're gonna see like beta coronaviruses, of which COVID's one. There's like thousands of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna see more.
Wow.
Well,
it's good that we're learning how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important as a human race.
I think what we're gonna end up having is like, do you get the flu shot every year?
No, I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Does everyone else?
It wasn't necessarily my choice. I just didn't sort of really get around to it.
I blame Liz. Don't blame Liz. I didn't start getting the flu shot until I got it from my workplace.
Right.
And I didn't realize it was the first year I didn't get the flu.
Oh, really?
And now I get it every year, and the year I didn't get it, I got the flu.
So my mum reads all the science papers obsessively, don't you, Mum, around what vitamins assist against the flu and the cold. So I just tend to have a lot of those en masse and generally not get the flu. So I think that's why I didn't.
Some of them do actually have pretty good efficacy, especially around the beginning. But people often take it when they start to feel sick, and then it doesn't have anywhere near any effect. So Matt was saying that he knows one of his teachers died from swine flu. We don't think about people in Australia. Was that in Australia? I'm really interested. One of my colleagues had that. So yeah, like Americans are like scared of like Ebola, right?
Yeah.
But like there's a whole bunch of other stuff which is like deadly that circulates now. And it wasn't until it's like, coronavirus, which is surprisingly not actually as a percentage wise that deadly. Like SARS won 30 to 40% mortality rate.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? This one's that sweet spot though.
Yeah.
Of like, 1%, somewhere between 0.1 and 1%. So it's like, well, politicians like, do we sacrifice that much of the population to just
for the economy?
And what about if it's old people that die? But what they didn't take into account those COVID long haulers. But yeah, there's been all these pandemics before, and everyone's like, oh, even in a chat of like 12 people, 2 people know someone's died from this like crazy illness.
Anyway, okay, let's start to wrap it up. There's a newish Pokemon called Charjabug, which is based off a Charger. There's that. I love it.
There was a Pokemon that was an ice cream, like vanilla ice cream.
Yes, it's like vanilla. I started playing the latest Pokemon. Yeah, it was happening.
That's real scraping the bottom.
Oh my god, I was playing the game. I started trying to catch them all, and I was like, oh my god, I'm still like so early in the game, and I'm trying to catch them all, and like I just like too much time. Anyway,
I saw this thing which was like a picture of the Sphinx, and it asks a man, the riddle of the Sphinx, what walks on 4 legs, then 2 legs, then 3 legs.
Yes.
And you know what it's meant to be, yeah?
Yes, I do know the answer.
He said, I don't know, like some fucking one of those new Pokemon or something. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
And the answer is a baby walking on all 4s, a human, an adult or walking on 2 legs, and then finally an old person walking with 2 legs and a cane. So
or that crazy Charizard Pokemon.
Or just a Pokemon evolving. Stephen Morello, I got the flu shot last year. Matt in Australia, North Queensland, where COVID basically hasn't even happened. This was in 2005, so sometime. Wow, crazy. Okay, guys.
If you want to talk viruses next week, please thank you, Stephen, for chucking down heaps of comments across the last week. Anything you guys want us to talk about, please send us a message. Add on to this. If you just go and put it in the comments here, we read every comment. Make sure to jump on and Stephen's followed our YouTube channel today, so that's another great place. Twitch.
Our Twitch is LUSH_ESS. You can follow us on Twitch. We're trying to hit some metrics.
If we get 100 people, we can get affiliates, or 1,000 people.
And we want to get like a better studio and some mics, and we can get some cool visuals for y'all.
Yeah, we can do some videos. At the moment, we're using a super easy Restream. Andrew Gray, thank you for watching. We're using Restream. We'll have, in the next few weeks, if we're getting traction, which we are every week, we'll set it up so that we can actually watch videos and pull in suggestions from news articles and stuff like that to go through the week.
That sounds sick. Hopefully
Yeah.
you guys can learn something while you're here. You can feel informed, you can feel inspired, and you
And
can voice your own opinion too. which is
Please
really cool.
do. And especially like for those of you who don't know, I'm big into emerging technologies. Lucy is our resident China expert.
I love it. And I
So-
don't barely anything. It's great.
You know, tons. So please, next Tuesday, about 7:30.
Yeah, we have to like lock down a solid time, don't we?
do.
I'm
If
thinking
if
like
you guys
8.
want to tell us when is good for you,
Yeah, are we
please.
thinking 8 to 9, or maybe just 8 onwards, 8
We
p.m.
streamed almost
Eastern
2
Standard Time.
hours.
I know you can't stop us.
No, every week it's longer and longer.
Is it sort of nice to have this as a sort of like nighttime winding down, listening to a stream or podcast sort of thing, or do you want it a bit earlier or a bit later? What are you guys feeling? Can we sing you to sleep? Just let us know.
I have an emerging technology.
Yep, is technology. And what a blossoming. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
If there's anything you guys want us to cover or anything to talk about, please
Yeah.
let us know. You've been amazing.
I'm
as
also
always.
on Instagram on LUSH_ESS. Lushess is my artist name. I make musics too.
You guys sing for us. I want you to sing.
Yeah.
Can you beatbox?
I just wanted to do it. And I
We'll
was like,
find
wait,
out.
no.
We'll find out next week.
I can do really basic beatboxing, and I'd actually like to learn better because I'd like to feature it in one of the new songs that I want to release. So
The first
Yeah.
minute of our live stream next time, maybe we'll do some freestyle and beatboxing.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, cool.
So,
Sounds great. 8 p.m. Amy, that's good. Okay,
That's
cool.
good.
Like you guys have maybe had your dinner. You're like, oh, I just want to be informed about what's happening in the world. Next
we're-
minute sleep ASMR stream.
That's it.
What is it?
Hold on, we need our crinkling chip
ASMR.
packet. You can't get rid of us. We just keep on. So this is actually ASMR porn. Seriously, it's an actual category.
All right. Okay, everybody.
No, you have to
I'm
make
gonna
it.
say goodbye.
You have to.
Oh, I hate that.
Do you? Oh.
Beatboxing ASMR.
Come back next week.
Come back next week.
Watch us again.
Thank you so much.
Talk about technology.
Your whisper voice is so hoarse. Love it. Bye.